Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So I've got three phones on the chopping block here, and I want to talk about them. So the Pixel XL was announced today, and it's actually looking pretty nice. Now, the first thing is the obvious, which is the price. That took a lot of people by surprise. The smaller one starts at $650, and the bigger one starts at $750, I believe. So you can max out, if you get the 128 gigs on the XL, at almost $1,000. That's including your taxes and everything, and they always have free shipping and things like that. But however, the price is the obvious. We cannot not go without talking about the price, because people were waiting on the price. A lot of people always say, why do you bring up price? Well, I don't live in a world where I just have a credit card with $1 million or $10 trillion limit, and I just can swipe and just do whatever I want to do. And people watching this video don't either. So people can always say, why do you bring up price? Well, price is important. You should want to know what you're paying for, something that you're getting ready to invest in possibly the next 2 years or 5 years, however long you keep your smartphones. And that is possible. So the Pixel XL, let's take a look at the specs compared to the other two phones I said were on the chopping block, which is the Note 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus. Now the reason I picked these other two phones is because there are variants of the iPhone 7 that match the exact same price as the XL 128 gig, which is $869. The 128 gig iPhone 7 Plus costs $169 pretty much across the board for carriers and Apple. And the Note 7, the reason it's here is because it costs $850, but it has an SD card slot, so you can bump that way up past 128 gig. But to be fair, you can put a 64 gig in there and you'll have a 128 gig phone as well, matching the other two, and it costs $150. Now there are other phones that I could put in this conversation, but these are the ones that are interesting to me. So the Pixel XL, first off, here's the first thing I didn't like that I heard from the announcement. It's exclusive to Verizon. Now they do have an unlocked version, but they have an exclusive deal with Verizon. You know, none of us are a fan of exclusive deals. All it shows is that one company can spend more money to get something first, which is a horrible deal. I don't know why OEMs don't wake up and realize that you're shortchanging yourself. Verizon's not giving that much more money that they can get across from all the carriers across the board. Verizon doesn't have the most money at their disposal compared to giving it to all the carriers and letting them spend it that way or get it that way. I just think that's a bad deal to have the phone exclusively to Verizon first, and then they have the unlocked version. Now, that's the one thing I didn't like. And another thing that I was kind of surprised at is for now, this is something that you could actually still say that the Pixel is worth it, because the Pixel XL costs pretty much the same. I think it's a little bit less, or it costs the same as the iPhone 7 Plus 32 gig. They're priced very close. And, you know, it's hard to argue that the Pixel XL is not overpriced. See, they kind of balance. It's like they almost, shout out to Jay Johnson, he said it's like they're pulling an apple, you know, on Twitter. So it's kind of like that's what they match the pricing pretty much identical to some other companies, and you know it's overpriced. And some people are going to say, well, the Pixel offers this. I could say that about the Galaxy Note 7 is the most feature-rich phone to date. I think it has the most features of any top-priced phone that I could think of. The S Pen suite alone puts it at a different level. The iris scanner puts it at a different level. Now, while I'm not a fan of the iris scanner, I'm not saying it, I still follow it. I think it's implemented a little wrong, but still, the Note 7 out features nearly everything on the market right now, if not everything. So that's why the Note 7 is here, and the Pixel XL doesn't have any features. It's a matter of preference when it comes to what you like on your phone. Now, I like stock and I like some overlays, TouchWiz being one of them, and I also kind of like LG Skin. But, you know, the Pixel XL falls into the overpriced category. And some people are going to say, so before you start typing, I know who watches the videos and who doesn't, because it's based on your comment. Before you say, well, it has the Snapdragon 821. All right, so what? I don't think you're going to get that much more difference in performance because it has a Snapdragon 821. So official specs right here. 5.5-inch Quad HD display. iPhone 7 Plus has a 5.5-inch 1080p display. The Note 7 has a 5.7-inch Quad HD display. Gorilla Glass 4 on the Pixel XL. Gorilla Glass 5 on the Note 7, and the iPhone has its own little special coating. Nougat on the Pixel XL, which I think is a bonus. That's a good one, because the Note 7 probably won't see Nougat for a long time. But we all know that iOS is firm on their updates. They're good on their updates. I've already gotten 2 updates since I had my iPhone. Now, as far as graphics go, the iPhone probably slaughters both of these because it has the 6-core graphics in there, and we all know that it performs very well on graphics. Snapdragon 821 A10 Fusion chip. It is a boss. It outperforms nearly every phone on the market. Let's be fair here, but I don't know how it's going to do against the 821. And the Galaxy Note 7, the American version, has the 820, which is meh. So RAM and internal memory on the Pixel, you get 32 or 128 with 4 gigs of RAM. And I don't know why this says SD card slot, but I didn't see anything about an SD card. This is GSM Arena that I'm using. It's probably a little outdated. Correct me in the comments, but I didn't see anything about an SD card slot. The iPhone 7 Plus goes up to 256 gigs. So we got 32, 128, and 256 gigs of RAM, of memory, and then 3 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough to push an iPhone. It really is. It flows like butter. And the 64 gigs and 4 gigs of RAM with an SD card slot on the Note 7. Now, cameras. They all have 12 megapixel cameras, but the iPhone 7 has a dual 12 megapixel camera setup. 1.8 aperture on the iPhone, 1.7 on the Note 7, 2.0 aperture on the Pixel. And they're saying that the Pixel, I watched that part of the pixel count and all those special features of the cameras really don't mean much if it doesn't take good pictures. But the Pixel XL, they're saying it's rated as the best camera on the market. And it's been tested for that. So front cameras, 8 megapixel on the Pixel, and 7 megapixel on the iPhone 7 Plus, and 5 megapixel on the Note 7. Now we all know that the Note 7 is got to have some of the, if not the best, it's got some of the best cameras ever. So speakers, we know the iPhone 7 has dual speakers now. That's pretty much it. And the battery in the Note 7 is 3500, and it has fast charging. The Pixel has fast charging, and the battery in that one is 3450. And the iPhone has a 2900 milliamp hour battery, non-removable. They all have non-removable batteries. So this matchup right here, I started with the price. Pixel XL 128 maxed out is $869. iPhone 7 128 $869. Note 7 $850. This is important because shout out to the person on Twitter. I won't say your name, but you know who you are. He said, well, you can't always bring up price. It depends on what they're offering. So I just spoke about it. Let's talk about, and I've got a poll up on Google Plus, and I've got a poll up on Twitter as well. Now that we know the price of the Pixel, is it worth it? The iPhone 7, we know, I'll be able to sell one of my iPhone 7s next year at nearly cost. As long as it's not banged up, and I have a lot of iPhones, accessories and things, and I didn't even open the current iPhone setup in there. I just, because I have multiple, so even if I were to, well, we opened up 2 of them, just left 1 unopened, but I can sell that iPhone at cost pretty much and lose only about $100, if that. We already see the Note 7 being sold well undervalued right now. And it has nothing to do with the battery exploding thing. The Note 7 is a great phone, period. There's just no getting around it. The Note 7 is fantastic. But it's already online being sold at a much lower cost. And then you see the iPhone 7 online being sold at almost a higher cost. Now the Pixel XL, we don't know how it's going to hold its value over time. It just depends on how well people accept the phone, if it becomes a hot item, if it starts selling real fast. Apple it's just well known, they've proven themselves. Their products hold good value. But taking a look at looking online here, I'm going to look online real quick. I want to pull up some resale values for the iPhone 7 Plus and the Note 7. Now the Pixel XL isn't there, and there's a reason that I'm bringing this up. Let's look at an iPhone 7 Plus unlocked, and let's see what it sells for. An iPhone 7 Plus 128 gig is, the asking prices are for the 128 gig $1,050. So they're basically asking for it at cost or a little bit above just to cover their pricing. This is right after it's being launched. Now, you look at some of these sales on here, and I'm just looking right here. You can kind of see. Some of them have it priced way above 128 gig, $1275. And it's a jet black one, so someone will buy that. They have a 256 gig for $1680. Look for yourself. See that? Now the phone just released and people are buying. So what's important? Let's look at what other phones have sold for, because there's a lot of them on there. So here we go. You've got a new 32 gig that's sold for $910. You've got a 128 gig that's sold for $1,060. You have a 256 gig that's sold for $1,300. You have a 128 gig that's sold for $1,210. You have a 32 gig that's sold for $900. People are buying this, so check it out. Apple seems to have mastered, the confidence of people, and people know that they're getting a good product. Now let's look at the Note 7. Galaxy Note 7 unlocked. This isn't to put one down or the other. I'm just making a point here for the people that said, well, you gotta consider, So let's pick Galaxy Note 7 unlocked here. There's multiple I can choose from. So let's go Note 7. And let's pick, well, here's some of the pricing here. So I'll just choose, since the Verizon one is unlocked from the factory, let me see if someone's selling a Verizon one yet. Nope, no listings for it. So I've got AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. And they're pretty much all selling for $700 or so. A little over $700. But the phone costs $850. Now we know that prices are negotiated. So let's click on the T-Mobile one. 64 gig. All of these are going to be 64 gig. But they're all ranging from $775 at the highest one going at $810. See? Right? Now let's look at some of the ones that have sold. You've got a black one that sold for $800, $830, $799, $79, and $800. Now, they probably negotiated those prices down to that point. But when you think about what was being lost on both of those phones, somehow the iPhone can be priced at a higher amount and sold for a higher amount. Now, when it comes to the Pixel is feature rich in its own way. It's probably a better match to have the iPhone 7 and the Pixel next to each other. They're equally priced. They both have very powerful processors. They're both very powerful phones. But how do we know what a feature rich phone is? How can we tell which one is more feature rich, which one is going to suit you better? It all depends. Galaxy Note people will say that the S Pen and all the features of the Galaxy Note is the best on the market and it can't be beat. Some of the features can't be beat. And the Galaxy Note phone, the Galaxy Note 7, the Note line is some of the best phones that are on the market. iPhone people will say that the iPhones hold better value. They never crash. They don't have very many problems. The Apple always does updates. The iPhone is just a smoother experience, and they wouldn't be lying. It is. The iPhones have better battery life, better standby. There's a lot of things to be argued there. Now, what are the Pixel people going to say? I know people online have already posted their pre-order, and they've paid for it cost. They paid full cost for the unlock one. Some people went with the Verizon one. They're buying them. So the Pixel is going to sell. But with not having the Pixel out on hand yet to where we could play with it, at least not me, I can't really say. The Pixel is just another Android phone. Let's be honest. It's just another stock Android phone, but it's got a lot of enhancements. Because the Google Assistant is what they focus this entire thing about. They focus the entire video on Google Assistant, the announcement. Now, they did have Home and Wi-Fi and all these other things that they announced. I was a little excited about the Home, but after the Pixel, I just kind of was like, I kind of lost interest. I was just doing other things while I was glancing up at the TV watching. But the Home, Google Home, I thought was very impressive, and I might go ahead and pick one of those up. It's priced at $129. Now, those Wi-Fi spots, $300 for 3 of them, or $129 for 1. I think it's bogus because there's a lot of other Wi-Fi routers that'll get you way better coverage than all those little spots through your house. The new Chrome, you know, is coming out. They have the new VR. I'm not really into VR. You know, I have like 5 VR headsets from different companies. I've given away VR headsets. I'm just not into it. But that's just me. I'm not excited about that. But the Pixel XL and the Pixel, the smaller one, I think they fall into the overpriced category. And even though I don't have my hands on them yet, that doesn't matter. I saw everything that you saw if you watched the event. If you didn't watch the event, go back to Google's page and watch it. You're going to see them focusing on voice commands pretty much, and Google, the new Google Assistant. That's pretty much it. After you take all of that into consideration, it's just another stock Android phone. So you're just going to get updates first. They have a new thing where updates are going to go in the background. And she was saying, oh, you don't have to wait in the bar and watch for the updates. Who cares if it's in the bar or not? I don't care. I don't care if there's an update in the bar. I like to just check and see the progress. That doesn't bother me at all. But in the end, the Pixel is supposed to be, to me, a better option than the 6P. Well, the 6P is starting to look really good to a lot of people. The 6P, you can get it for about $300 less right now. As a matter of fact, the 128 gig Nexus 6P, they have one more on the site now from Google, and I looked last night, and it was $550 for the 128 gig, and they only had white. So let's pull it up here. I can't believe that phone starts at $650. I still can't believe it. They've taken it away. They don't even have it on here. Let me see if I can find it on the site. I don't even see the Nexus 6P. It's got to be here. Wow, they took it off the site. The only thing on the store now for phones is the Pixel. Wow. I mean, it's got to be something wrong here. Where can I find? Wow, Google. That was fast. Even for Project Fi, they only have the Pixel, not offering anything else. So let's hit Amazon. Let's hit Best Buy. Well, 128 gig is $550. That's looking pretty good. And you're getting those dual front speakers that are boss. We all know that. But how do you guys feel about the Pixel? Be fair in your comments. Be honest. It doesn't matter that we don't have our hands on it. They showed us everything about the Pixel. And in the end, it's just like the Apple events. It's just another iPhone. With the Pixel, it's just another stock Android with a great upgrade, some great features there. But take away all that and you're just getting an Android phone. Now what do you say about the pricing of the Pixel? $650 to $850 is what you're looking at. And it has an exclusive deal with Verizon. All the other carriers didn't get it. Kind of lame. They did kind of pull a fast one. Somebody said, well, who cares? You're getting the unlocked version anyway. Now, what if I wanted to get it on my carrier? You know, I got a lot of phones that I paid full cost for. What if I wanted to take a chance and get that one on the carrier and pay monthly for it? I don't have the option. And I have the option because I have Verizon. But I don't want to pay for a phone on monthly on Verizon. I always just buy those out. But I like the Pixel. I think it looks fantastic in the hardware. The black and the silver look really good. I don't really like the blue. It's way too glossy. And I think the Pixel is going to do very well amongst the tech world. And Verizon customers get the option to buy it monthly. Now you can finance it you can buy it on your credit card. It's what we do, and you're basically paying monthly. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. Now I'm not saying I'm not getting the Pixel. I'm just saying the price has taken it up into the league with the iPhone 7 Plus and the Note 7 and every other phone that costs high. So you know what phone starts to look really good right now besides the Nexus 6P and several other phones, the Axon 7, the OnePlus 3, all these phones look great. Out of 4S, the V20, birds chirping. Come on, LG, let's get on it. See how Google did it? They announced it and they at least gave us a pre-order the same day. Let's go. We got to do something because the V20 is losing traction before we even get our hands on it. So I know it's going to cost about $699, which is a lot less than, it's kind of middle ground for this, but it's a flagship. So flagship. So let's talk about in the comments. How do you guys feel about the I was about to say the LG V20, the new Google Pixel hardware built in-house for them. They also have live 24-hour chat and phone calls, kind of like Amazon Fire. Remember Amazon? They had that. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Discussion time. Pixel XL, Pixel. What do you think? It's your man Jay Will. Let's talk.